Oh, we are live, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the MMA Analysis Podcast. As you can see, just two of us, not two Canadians this week. A Canadian and a Sodsman, as the good Lord intended. Back to break down some UFC, not Vegas. It's somewhere else. It's in Kansas City, the house that Kraus built.
And then burned it down.
And then burned it all down. So yeah, that should be interesting. Always a little bit more fun when fights are in front of a live crowd. Wes, how you doing this week? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, we're hanging in there, man. Trying to dodge those bullets that are flying everywhere nowadays.
You and Lance. Obviously Lance isn't here. We don't know. I heard it wasn't because he caught a stray. We've been trying to tell him about the semen retention, but he's not listening. He's just jerking it furiously. He's got a masturbation-induced injury. Had to get surgery. It was so bad.
The man had to put a plate and 3 screws in his fucking wrist from all the non-semen retention he's got going on.
He's gonna have some bionic crank sessions coming up once they remove that cast. It's gonna be wild. But appreciate you being here with me. Sean's on the road again, building railroads or whatever the fuck he does. I know he tells us every time.
Towers or something.
Yeah, working on the railroad. We'll go with that still. But yeah, it's quite the time to be alive. Watching my Raptors blow this play-in game. It's going to be incredible for them to end up losing this. Maybe if they get eliminated, somebody will go down and punch DeRozan's daughter for all this shrieking.
They're like giving her TV time now and shit. Like they just had her on TV. No. You can't you can't reward that shit. Do not put her on TV.
Pat Beverly's hitting threes now.
Oh,
it's insane. We're done for. It's over.
Y'all know what y'all need to do is send fucking Oak out there. Y'all got him on the bench, right next to the bench. Y'all need to send Oak out there, let him take care of fucking DeRozan.
Yeah,
maybe send him over to talk to the kid.
Talk to the daughter. Yeah. That's that could be a thing. Anyway, I'll have my eye on that as we're recording the first bit of this, but we're just gonna go back, break down last week's card as we always do, and then bounce it on over to this weekend's UFC on ESPN event. Not a bad one. Nice main event happening this weekend, and a couple other decent fights on there.
They did what they usually do though, and bury one of the funnest fights on the card down on the prelims because they're sub 155ers.
Insane.
Never
absolutely it should be the co-main event, but they've got it. It's not even the featured prelim for whatever the hell that means, right?
Dumb. I don't get it.
They did it a little bit last week too. A couple things on the pay-per-view that you wouldn't necessarily consider pay-per-view worthy, but we'll get to that. We'll start off at the bottom of the card and work very quickly up to the pay-per-view card. Sam Hughes, unanimous decision over some hyped up minus 250 chick who had never beat anybody. Wes, I don't know when I'm going to learn, but I said after this one, I need to lower the thresholds for the decision lines that I need to play in these women's MMA fights because they're starting to catch on. You don't necessarily see the plus 400, plus 500s anymore. So the threshold is going to be down at 350 now. If we're getting 350 on a women's MMA decision, I might just have to play it.
That's about what they're starting to sit at. Like you see a plus 200 or so underdog. Their decision women's is usually like 350 now. They're definitely catching on. I had a little bit of both of those. This was just an absolute fraud grappling Brazilian. Another one. How many have we seen? Look good. Look good in the first too. They usually always look pretty decent in the first, and then it's straight gas party like every time. That's what happened. You could see this one a mile away though. Like I'm never running out to get even 2-1 on Sam Hughes. Trust me, but you could see this one coming a mile away.
Some truths are eternal when it comes to MMA. Next up, featherweight division. Old Steve got it done. A lot of people on Steve this weekend and took out the neuter bike. Some brutal body work. That was a fun little finish to cap that one off.
Yeah, I had a little plus 160 on Steve. Just a half bet. It wasn't anything big. I kind of thought he could outlast the old neuter bike. Man, you're right. The body work was nasty. Steve Garcia still isn't good. He was getting cracked all over the place. But yeah, I mean, good win. I saw quite a few people on the neuter bike actually liked him in this spot. Yeah, take a small little dog there.
Absolutely. Catch weight 160. Ignacio Bahaman. This fight kind of stunk. Ogden did nothing. I don't know if it's sexually transmitted or transmitted through the fight, but in his last one against the dude that's fighting this weekend, Zellhuber, that dude did nothing, and then turn around in this fight, and Ogden, some of these guys come in, I don't know what the game plan is. I mean, I know that the Bahaman is tall, but I'm not sure that I'm seeing what other people are seeing out of this guy. So the seeds are in the ground. We're pouring a little bit of fertilizer in there. It's springtime. We're getting some showers. The time will come, Wes.
Look, I took a small little shot this time. Like nothing big. I don't believe like you get a guy like that showed up in front of you, you couldn't like put on a better performance than that. I don't see it with the Bahaman, but I gotta second what you're saying about like Ogden. Dude, you're in a UFC fight, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it with some of these dudes that literally like I hate to harp on our boy like Dick Willie, man. Like, at least go in there and fucking fight, man. At least those, if you're gonna get cracked and taken out, like you're in a cage fight, you can't be scared to get hit or knocked out in front of people. Like you're so scared to where you literally can't. And I just don't. I don't want to hear the shit like I froze up. I couldn't go. Dude, you're a cage fighter that's been in 20 fights. Like you're not, dude, swinging his fucking fist at you. You ain't freezing up. I don't get it, man. Like you're probably gonna get cut off shit like that. So you literally want to be cut or knocked out, or take a chance of getting knocked out. I'd rather take a chance of getting knocked out personally.
Yeah, those are the types of performances that everybody wants to fight, and they're gonna pull dudes in. They're gonna pull dudes in from anywhere to replace you if you're gonna put on.
Contender Series is coming back here in just a couple months, buddy. Y'all better start swinging. Trust me.
Next up, somebody who did get cut after a loss. Cynthia Calvillo couldn't quite get there on the banger of a consensus bet last week. I know we were getting shit for it in the group chat.
I played it though. I ended up playing it. I actually did.
You had to. It was consensus.
I mean,
contractually obligated.
I liked the bet. It was the way I went too. I didn't hate the bet.
Yeah, it was not bad. Not bad. Split decision for Lupi Godinez. I guess only half of her Canadian side showed up for that one. I didn't watch it. I just know what the result was.
Still could have lost. I mean, I'm pretty sure it came down to the third round. And she just did a tiny bit more. Lupi sucks. Like, I don't know what. Look, Calvillo looked like absolute shit.
Yeah.
I know. Look, I will say, looked in the best shape she's looked in years. Like, I know she dropped down a weight class. You could tell, like, she looked fucking slim and fit, and then looked slower than I could ever imagine. Literally so slow, bro. Punches so slow. Missing these short punches, just hitting air. Still came down to the third round. Like, Loopy sucks. We got Loopy against somebody who was it, Angela Hill? We hit it dog money against her. Like, she is bad, man. We're gonna get another good price against her. She's not good.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're, what was she, minus 250 or something in this fight? Like,
that's
some
crazy.
of those fighters, you just continue to see these prices. It's like people are like me; they don't even watch the fights. What's up next? Sad one, middleweight division. Joe Pyfer takes out the Meerkat, first round knockout. I don't have much to add on this one. Lost a little bet there.
Yeah, me too. I bet some Meerkat money line, little Meerkat sub. I mean, we kind of know it. There was just this aberration of Meerkat a couple fights back to where his hands were looking good because the dude just couldn't connect on him and knock him out. If anybody with a little bit of power gets on Meerkat's chin, he's done. Like, he doesn't even get knocked out at this point. He takes a good shot and rolls up and like gets the fuck out of it. He makes business decisions, which I got no problem with. Like he did in this fight. He got cracked by Piper, and that dude literally curled up and said, "No more."
Once you hit that 50 fight mark in your career, you can't hold it against somebody for making the business decision.
Look, Pfeiffer did like Piper, however the fuck. He did what he had to do here. I don't know how good the guy's like. You show you got some power, but you've knocked out literally a few bums, some dudes with some bad chins and shit. Like, I don't know how good the guy is yet. Who knows? I do like how he comes off though. He says, "I'm not shit. I don't deserve any hype. I need to get better. I'm not at the top 15 yet. I'm nowhere near it." I like hearing that out of guys. It's way different than another guy we'll talk about later who was claiming he's already going to be a triple champ and all this other shit. Like, I like Joe Pyfer's mentality when it comes to this shit. So we'll see.
It's kind of weird to hear people call his Contender Series loss a fluke. The one where, like, I know he broke his arm. He broke his arm because the dude picked him up and dropped him from 6 feet in the air. It's his arm didn't just break on its own. But aside from that, he seems like a likable guy. Got a good story. We'll see. I mean, it takes a lot more than that to have success in MMA. As we'll get to up on the main card. I assume you're talking about the Calvillo fight. ASAP.
She did beat up. There was a couple. There was a couple like air beatings on this card.
There always are. Next up, I don't know if this falls into the air beating category, but I saw some people complaining about this one. Luana Pinheiro gets the split decision over Michelle Watterson. Again, I saw like the very tail end of this fight. I think it was out. We got the new pup now, so back to the official dog walk fights. And this was one of them.
Nice, that's awesome. What happened with the Foster?
Oh, that's this guy.
So y'all ended up keeping him, huh? Nice. That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Yep. He's a good boy.
Yeah, it's the dude. Man, his colors are different, but that's Lady Bird's exact like patch. She had the white chest and shit. Just different color.
Did she have like a little spot on the back of her neck too? He's got a little one back there.
She was solid except her chest and one of her paws had white on it. Yeah.
We don't know. There might have been another white paw there, but
could have been.
Who knows what's up with that? Anyway, moving up to the now things start to get good. Gastelum and Curtis, fucking banger. That was tremendous. Sucks a little bit the way that the headbutt went in the second round that really ended up deciding the fight. But I mean, you can't complain about this fight. It was incredible.
No, I mean that was a banger, and I know Kelvin's gave us like some stinkers sometimes in his career, but he's given us some absolute banger fights in his career too, and this was one of them, man. Man, I will say too about even Curtis too. Some of the best chins you'll ever see. Like Kelvin has taken tremendous beatings in his career. Curtis too, man. Like, goddamn, the shit he was taking this fight. And like Curtis, a little more like he knows how to roll with punches really nice. It's a lot of his stance too. He does a sort of a side boxing stance a lot of the times too. Rolls real well with punches. It does suck because I think Curtis won that fight. I am a little biased. I took some dog money with Curtis, but I think that he gets that second round if that doesn't look like a knockdown, because it looks like a knockdown. It was a headbutt that caused the knockdown. Yeah. And I think that's why they gave Kelvin the round, because the rest of the round, Curtis outlanded him and was looking great, was landing bombs on him in the second round. But all in all, great fight. Still a close fight. I scored it for Curtis without that, I knowing about the headbutt and what happened. I scored it for Curtis. I would have still really had no problem giving it to Kelvin, even still knowing that fact of the headbutt, because it's a close fight, man. Props to Kelvin. Like, I don't know how good the guy still is, but if he can show up looking like that, in shape, the dude looked in shape, man. He had no problem making weight, didn't look sucked out. He actually looked like he cut the weight. The dude's still skilled as fuck, man. It's one of the few guys that's had Izzy literally about out of there. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Curtis has one of those styles that never really plays well to the judges. Like you said, rolling with punches. A lot of judges are like, oh, he got hit by that.
And it's his shoulder or his arm or something. Yeah.
And then the body work, which we know they never score. So,
yeah, that's it shout out Dan Tom, because he talked about it too with the Curtis fight. Curtis worked that body over. Like, and
which
that's
is a great game plan against Kelvin too, because normally that dude's coming in blubbery and out of shape, and that's going to just absolutely sap him by the end of the first round, never mind the third round.
Yeah, and that kind of was another reason why I scored a close fight for Curtis, because I think us watching fights and betting them and just breaking them down, we score fucking body work. Like, that shit really, really matters to me. Like, I know leg kicks not as much, but if a guy lands 50 fucking leg kicks on a guy, that should count for a little something in a close fight. But body work, absolutely, and I think Dan Tom harps on it as much as I see anybody.
The conductor of that training.
I'm glad. Sure. I'm glad because he's absolutely right. Like, body work. I mean, good shots to the liver and kidneys and organs should matter as much as a good straight jab, and it doesn't. Like, they just don't score them the same still.
If a headshot doesn't knock you out, I would say that a good body shot is more effective over the course of a fight.
If it doesn't start causing a cut or swelling or knock you out,
or like stun the guy,
a body shot means a hell of a lot more and over the long run of a fight. Absolutely.
Oh, well, it'll never happen, but we can dream, right? So that's that one. Also, shout out to Dan Tom. I hopped on his show. We did a little rewatch of Ultimate Fight Night 13. He's doing some of that stuff for MMA Junkie right now, just going back and like rewriting an awesome old card. I think he's doing like one a month. So keep a lookout for that. But there's a video of us watching that along on Fight Pass and just, having a couple beers and bullshitting as we normally do on this show, just on a different show for some old fun MMA. Pay-per-view kicked it off in the bantamweight division. Wes talked about one that he saw coming a mile away earlier on this card. I could see this one coming a mile away. I mean, 18-year-olds do not have success at the highest level of MMA. I don't know how many years we need to see it. I think this kid is good-ish. He's got potential, but very limited in terms of his overall skill set, very raw in terms of the thing that he's good at. And when that doesn't work and you're fighting in a division like bantamweight where there's not too many bad bantamweights on the roster, it's going to be a tough go for you.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I do think Rosas is going to be a good fighter. He has the thing he's still like raw in and shit, though. When he gets it, gets it sharpened, learns to get a little more control to go with those subs and shit. That's a great base, man. Like, it's a very good base to be a good fighter. I still think he could be a good, and I mean, just look at the kid at 18 years old. Like, he's already in great shape and shit. Like, he's going to be a decent fighter, but they completely fucked up with this kid. Like, I don't get it. Like, they slow roast some of these people like Sean O'Malley and shit and stuff. Then you got to do this literally 18 with no really pro experience. You throw him on a pay-per-view against a decent guy. Like, Christian Rodríguez is not no bum. Like, you could see this, man. Like, that line was just insane to me against this kid. But yeah, I will say, man, like, I think he's going to be good in the future, but you got to slow down with this shit, man. I mean, this isn't 1995 and Vitor Belfort and shit and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to see like 18, 19-year-olds nowadays. They just don't have the experience. You could be an all-world talent. You're not like, hey, we bet against him though. Like, you best believe we was fading the shit out of Slow Kid. You know what I'm saying? But shout out Water Show, best base for MMA. Ugly and a motherfucker. That's the best base for MMA, because that kid, he's getting beat on and made fun of his entire life.
LR, that comment's way too long for me to put on the screen, but I can guarantee you that Rosas Jr. wasn't born anywhere. That dude was hatched in a cave to a bunch of trolls. All right, that's that is something. Poor kid, but hey, can't have a better base for MMA.
What the fuck did I say? There's something about that chin popping out of his mouth or something like that. Man, that shit can't be real, dog. They added that. They added that on, like, this. Whoever hatched him is like, this dude's gonna be a fighter. Attaching extra chin.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Kevin Holland. So speaking of guys that, like, we were talking about guys that don't throw and like have all these excuses, I froze up, all this shit. You could tell in that fight that Holland had an injury to one of his hands, and this dude just keeps going out, and he's too stupid to care. He's just throwing.
He's the dude that would throw down with Masvidal in the middle of fucking outside the arena if nobody was out there. Like, legit, he's a fucking scrapper. That's what you want, man. Like, come on, that's why you gotta like Holland, man. Like, say what you will about the dude, but that guy shows up and will fight fucking anybody. I mean, he will literally fight anybody. He got shit kicked out of him by fucking hazmat. I mean, yeah, you could tell a dude went out there. That's how done the old pontoon is, man. Yeah. He is fucking done, bro. I mean, when Casper Moreno Ghost is drilling your ass,
has you on death's doorstep.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew that. I liked Holland here. You could tell Holland literally came into this fight hurt. Too bad Krause isn't around, because maybe that could have slipped out somewhere, and could have got a lot of that 2-1 on minus 200 on Kevin Holland. But yeah, Holland's fun, man. There's a lot of things you can do with him at 170, man. Do to fight about anybody. When you bring out the best fight in Wonder Boy's career, you make Wonder Boy look like something like that. Put him in there with anybody.
Yep. And anybody but Colby.
Yeah, we don't need that. Like, we don't need that at all.
Bantamweight division, again, as we said, great division. People were ready to crown Fadrian Yanez over some wins, over some bums in the division.
I wasn't crowning him, but
I've made a lot of bad bets throughout my life. But man, I felt like I made a couple of common sense ones on this card. Rodríguez and Font, nice numbers. They worked out. Font got cracked in this one, but I mean, there's kind of this narrative that Font has no chin or like quits when he gets hit. But that dude will fight back. I mean, it takes a really good fighter to put him out of there.
Yeah, Font don't quit. He usually nowadays, like I talked about the other night, he's got eye problems now. Like he's had fractured orbitals to where
like every fight. Yeah.
Yanez literally probably cracked his orbital again because his eye was swollen within like a minute. Like his eye was swelling fast. I'm not sure Font can fight too many more banger fights and not just have his face, swelled shut. But look, I like Yanez in this fight. And I don't know. Yanez looked good. He looked how I thought he was going to look. I wasn't writing Font off. I liked Yanez in this matchup. I thought he could hit Font. He did. I thought that he would eventually hurt Font, do that to his face that he was doing. And in this fight, I never forgot that Font was a really good fucking boxer and has some fucking pop for this weight class. I just thought Yanez was better at this point. Still think he's right there. He got caught by a really good guy. Props to Font. Props to everybody that had Font at dog money. That was a really good bet. That's all I can say about it. It was a great bet on Font. I was on the wrong side. I still think Yanez is good, but there's some questions about his chin now because that's not the first time he's been rocked in fights at this weight class. So,
yeah. And I mean, it's just a meat grinder of a weight class. You've got to be very good at bantamweight.
Durable.
You better be prospect.
You better be durable as fuck at 135 because dudes put on pace. They can all hit. Yeah, you better be able to crack and get cracked at 135.
Co-main event, kind of played out like people expected, I guess. I don't know. Gilbert won. He could get takedowns when he wanted to. George has always been tough to finish. I mean, pretty good defensively everywhere. I don't know. This was a tough one to get the greatest read on to me. So I just ended up passing, and I don't know. Yeah.
I really like Gil in this fight, of course. I had him in some chalk degen stuff, but one with Yanez, so of course that went down in flames. I was kind of on your side. I think I saw you talk to where this was probably going to go long and finish because Masvidal is hard to finish. A lot of people thought that Gil would get him out of there. Gil could have got him out of there in the third round if he wanted to. I didn't think he was taking any chances. But he buzzed Masvidal multiple times in the third round. Could have took him down at any point and probably got something on him. He played it safe. He got the win. Maybe this didn't want to hurt Masvidal. They didn't. People was talking about trash talk. Like they was respectful to each other the entire week. Like they didn't really say much anything to each other. Both being from down there in South Florida and shit. I just didn't see any of that, and Gil just didn't act like that in the fight. So. Yeah,
I mean, it's also hard to be like trash talking and pissed off in a fight with Gilbert Burns. He seems like the nicest.
He's like the nicest dude. Yeah, I mean, Masvidal, you literally the one dude you could start shit talk with, and Gil never even tried once. Yeah. Like that's just not in that dude's nature. I mean,
now
the
that
best
Maya's gone, he's that dude for the division.
The best Gilbert Burns was him going crazy ass killer after that one fight, going off, calling out a bunch of people you couldn't even understand and shit. He did it like one time and then never did it again. It didn't work, man. Well, yeah, Masvidal says he's going to retire, or he's retired. He'll be broke in a few years when the IRS comes knocking, and he'll have to fight again. So that we'll see Jorge losing another fight sometime in the future.
You know me, Wes. I haven't cared about a Masvidal fight since like 2012. Like,
well, I mean, him. Like, I mean, Dana's right on one thing.
Not
Dana's,
even the Diaz fight doesn't even count. If you're
no, I
gonna go
mean,
there.
just the knee on Askren literally made Masvidal more money than it made him his entire career off of one sequence of events. He literally made more money off of that in his entire life. And I mean, if that's what you're known for, even if all the shit, like the people that never watched a Kimbo video back in the day, that never saw Masvidal get the inverted choke on his ass or fight on a beach. If you're just known for that knee, I mean, that's a hell of a fucking thing to be known for in your career. And it made him rich. I mean,
very true. Very, very true. And really, that's the most important thing in this game is fighters get your money, because this shit is unforgiving otherwise.
There ain't been many. I mean, there's not been many over the past few years, and Masvidal could probably say he's made about as good a grip as a lot of these dudes outside a couple of them. I mean, it's wild that Nate Diaz is probably going to go like second on that list behind King Connor, but Nate's probably going to go second on that list once he makes fucking whatever millions he's going to make to fight a fucking Nate at 2-1. You think I'm not betting Nate? Like, seriously, I think I ain't betting Nate at fucking 2-1 against that bum. I don't care what size Nate is, what he looks like.
He's gonna walk forward for 8 rounds, eat punches for 3 of them, and then win the last 5.
And he's gonna be gassed out like Tommy Fury did. Like Tommy Fury boxed that dude up. You don't think Nate ain't gonna fucking box on this dude? Come on.
Main event, fun. I mean, when Adesanya actually gets pulled into a fight, he's fun.
Great. He's great.
Gotta give him credit where it's due. I don't think that he was on the way out or anything like that in the final sequence. I think that Pereira was starting to break him down a little bit. Definitely had the leg compromised, but I think Pereira thought that because of how their previous fights had gone, he had Adesanya in a little bit more trouble than he actually did. You know, he landed some good stuff to the body, but he didn't really have him rocked or anything upstairs, and just beautiful counters from Adesanya, kind of similar to round 1 of the first fight, except there was a lot more time in the round, so he had the chance to finish him off.
Yeah, it sucks because like a couple of weeks leading up to this fight, I was back on Izzy. After even watching the first fight back, I was like, Izzy's the better fighter. Izzy's the better striker. Pereira's got one thing, that power. It worked the first time, but Izzy won like 4.5, 4.75 of that fucking of that fight. I don't know. Then I'm looking at it where, you know, we talk about it and shit, and it just, so I of course switched back over to Pereira. I was dead wrong. Should have went with my initial gut, but as far as the fight, Pereira looked decent again, man. The guy hits so goddamn hard with everything he throws. But Izzy did something this fight he didn't really do last time, man. To me, Izzy took chances. He didn't. I saw a couple. I've seen some you know, Twitter thread breakdowns and stuff of some of the fights, some good stuff. But Izzy did throw more kind of range finding kicks in this fight. He threw more to the thigh and the body and shit. The main thing Izzy did different in this fight is the time but the times he did get backed up a little bit, he didn't try to grab Pereira or initiate a clinch and try to get off the cage or away from the cage. He took chances. He fucking threw punches off of the cage. That's what he did in the finishing sequence. Pereira got him with a good knee. Like that knee kind of landed, looked like he got something really good to the body. Izzy got hit in that sequence. Instead of like Izzy kind of going back and shelling up, or Izzy trying to clinch out on him like he was doing in the last fight, he fired and it fucking landed. It absolutely landed. And like Brad said, man, when Izzy is pushed and put in these spots to where he's got to throw down, like at like the Paulo Costa fight, man, Like, the dude's incredible. This was all that Izzy's done. The fights, like, he's been in the UFC for like 3 or 4 years now. The dude's got like 12 fights or some shit. Like, this is a career defining fight to me, man. Like, this guy was a boogeyman to him, like, legitimately had laid his ass out multiple times in his life. To come back and fight a guy like this again and get a finish like that, man, that's a career defining performance. I think this moves Izzy up into an echelon, man. Like, he's approaching a pound for pound great in the sport today. And me personally, I don't care to watch that fight again. I'd watch it again tomorrow. They could run that fight back. I see some people that don't want to see the immediate rematch. I don't necessarily disagree with not running it right back, but my God, I mean, Pereira knocked him dead once. Izzy caught him. That was a really close fight up until the knockout again. So they're
cleaned out the rest of the division. So, like,
who else you want to see him fight? And they're 1-1 in MMA. The kickboxing shit doesn't matter. Like, that's a completely different sport and shit. They're 1-1 in MMA with a finish apiece. How do you not run that back for a trilogy? It's we're getting Brandon Moreno and Figgy fighting 17 fucking times and shit. And you don't want to see these two like monsters in the sport like fight again. Perfectly fine with that. Last thing I'll say is, I got no problem with Izzy going over and fucking saying fuck you to Pereira's kid. Like, that's perfectly fine with me. I know some people's all upset, like, don't start giving me this unscripted. These dudes are fighting in a cage, man. His kid was perfectly fine with like getting up in a ring and making fun of his ass after getting knocked out before. He can take a little bit of it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between like going outside of the cage and like saying shit to the kid. Whatever you do in the cage is fine. And like you said, that kid actually climbed up in the ring, did that shit right beside Izzy. And like, I know he was 6 years old or 8 years old or whatever. I can never tell how old fucking kids are. They all look like little gremlins to me. But yeah, he's I'm not even an Izzy fan, and I wasn't upset about that at all. It was whatever. He just knocked out the guy that had beat him more times in his career than anybody else across all of the combat sports that he's done. Just, keep it petty all the time. Tom Petty.
Yeah, baby.
That's going to do it for UFC. What was that? 287.
Good card. That was a good card.
It was. It was. I didn't buy it. It turned out that it was almost worth buying.
No, none of them's worth paying for. I got enough fucking money.
I bought the Bones card. Especially now that they're in with WWE, they don't need the money.
I give them a fucking ESPN Plus subscription and watch all their bullshit they feed me on there. They get enough money. I paid for Fight Pass for fucking. I still got a Fight Pass. I paid for Fight Pass since it came out. They get all my money.
I don't even have Fight Pass anymore.
Because I still wait. Because I don't. It's easier to pay them like $5-6 a month than to try to find a stream for LFA, and I still watch those from time to time. So it's easier.
I think my dad still has one, so I log into that whenever
it's a yearly sub that comes off my fucking credit card literally every year. I usually don't even remember it. I just get my credit card statement and I'm like, oh fuck, I still pay for Fight Pass? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got it for another year.
I'm rich. I'm not Lance rich, but I'm not rich. I can afford it. Let's put it that way. I'm not Lance, but I ain't rich.
There we go.
It's not killing.
But yeah, ESPN Plus, very much worth it.
It's worth every penny. Yeah,
if you can get your hands on one in my neck of the woods, we need the lacrosse too.
Ooh, yeah, that's good stuff.
All right, moving on. UFC on ESPN, some number. I don't know. I don't have the Wikipedia open. Don't really care. Headlined by Max Holloway, Arnold Allen. Great fight up top. A couple good ones throughout the card. Couple bad ones to start off the card. Women's bantamweight division. Joe's Line Edwards taking on Lucy Pudilová.
Yeah, I don't really have much on this fight. Don't really want to talk too much about this fight. So it's take the dog and Top Master, and I'm not betting it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the decision lines, and we've got a plus 150 and a plus 130. So that is a big old pass for me. You could not pay me to care about this fight. Men's bantamweight division, we've got Gaston Bolaños taking on Aaron Phillips. Aaron Phillips is one of those dudes that has like the Bieber haircut. Just in case you were wondering, Wes, the Tapology world rankings for these fellas.
Oh,
Aaron Phillips is the 222nd ranked bantamweight worldwide, and Gaston Bolaños is the 260th featherweight worldwide. So some high quality stuff here.
I mean, this what is this guy? Is that Peru?
Yeah, that's a Peruvian flag.
This dude is Peruvian. I might get a necktie around there. It looked like last year he knocked out our boy Sean Carey's brother at a Bellator event. I don't remember seeing it. This he's fought on Bellator a few times. I can't remember.
He also lost to Sean Carey.
Same guy got choked dead. I guess he came back and was like, "No, fuck this." Fought Han Solo's little nephew. I don't know. Oh, I know Aaron Phillips hasn't fought in almost 3 years or something like that. So I have no clue in this fight, man. It's just not something I want my money anywhere around. I get why Phillips is a dog, I guess, because of the layoff, but I don't know. To this dude who's losing to bums on Bellator, I'll probably have to pick Aaron Phillips. Think he's the more talented guy, but man, can't bet a dude that hasn't fought in 3 years coming off a loss. So he'll be the pick and Top Master, but I'm passing.
Yeah, I've got nothing on this one. I am aware that años in Spanish means years. So his name is Gaston Bolaños. So I don't know if that counts for anything, but
these balls are yours.
Women's strawweight division, just the hits keep on coming. Bruna Brazil taking on Denise Gomes, or Gomes, if you will.
This is like Sarah McMahon trained down in Brazil anytime 20 years ago. Like it's been mom quit for like 2 decades with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She look like Sarah McMahon's daughter or some shit.
The special one is her nickname, so I don't know if like Sarah McMahon's like, kid? "Oh, you're the special one." That's what we called her daughter down there or some shit.
Yeah, I remember this Denise Gomes chick getting absolutely pieced up by the Boumaye. That was her last fight, wasn't
Loma?
It? Yeah,
Loma Boumaye?
Yeah, she got absolutely pieced up by her, but I don't know if this chick like wrestles like her mom. I think she could take it down and put it on the old Gomes, but man, I have absolutely no idea. I don't think I've ever seen this chick fight. It says she got knockout on Contender Series. Can't remember the fight. Ain't going back and watching it. So another complete pass on me. But I will pick the fave in this one though. I don't think that Gomes chick is any good whatsoever.
Looking at the decision lines here, we've got Little McMahon at plus 110 and Gomes at plus 250. So Gomes is getting up there. We'll need a little bit more for it to be a full-on algorithm play, but we might have to put some alerts on for that one. Lightweight division, we've got the fraud of all frauds, Daniel Zellhuber, taking on Lando Vannata, second Star Wars reference of the podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those spots to where I'm going to have to be just proven wrong. Take my money if I am, but man, Lando is a slight dog to this bum. Like, I don't, Lando got a little bit of hype. I don't think he's as good as some of the hype he was getting. But he came back down to earth a little bit, but man, this Zellhuber kid is absolutely trash. I mean, he lost to Trey Ogden for fucking sake, man. Like, what are we doing? And he's a fave over Lando. Man, I think Lando puts on a pressure and a pace like he always does in a fight, and he's gonna welt this kid. Give me Lando at that dog money, man. If I'm wrong and Zellhuber is some phenom like I just haven't seen losing to Trey fucking Ogden, so be it. I'll take some dog money on Lando here.
Yeah, I think I got a little taste of the Kool-Aid after Zellhuber's Contender Series performance. I don't know why, because looking back on it, I think I went back and rewatched it one other time. The plus 250 for Gomes was the decision line, not the money line. Why would I look at money lines on women's fights? I go on a decision, man. Come on, what are we doing here? I don't know what I was looking at when I thought that he was something special or possibly decent coming off of Contender Series, but man, that was a pathetic performance against Ogden in his UFC debut. I just don't know how you can see that performance and then see what Ogden did in his last fight and say, hey, this dude should be a favorite against Lando Vannata. I mean, Lando's not a world beater, but he's got some tricky kickboxing skill. He can wrestle a little bit. He's actually going to do stuff once he gets in the cage, which, that's helpful lot to win a fight.
It's a lot in these bum fights, ain't it, man?
I think that I'm going to have to go with Lando in this one. Take a little dog money here. Not going to be anything huge. Don't have a ton of trust in Lando at this point, but certainly more than I've got in Daniel Zellhuber. Women's strawweight division, undefeated prospect Piera Rodríguez taking on Jillian Robertson, and FYI, Jillian Robertson is Canadian and has a minus beside her name. So, I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, but this is it's another South American fraud anyway, I think. I'm not rushing out to bet Robertson here, though. Not at she's down to, where is that, minus 110? Bet 365 it's got minus 110. I'd need plus here. What I was looking at, if I'm gonna bet anything here, is little Robertson by sub is plus 285. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. If this gets scrambly, I think I do think this Pereira chick is much more heavier on the ground and on top. But man, Robertson scrambly, can pull off arm bars and shit. So I'm gonna pick Robertson. I think she can find a sub here. I'm not sure I'm gonna bet it though. Line's decent, but usually that's something you get 3 or 350 on. So probably going to be a pass, but I'll watch it. If it comes up a little bit, might be a small play, but pick is Robertson by sub.
Looking at the decision lines, as always, Robertson by decision is 300 at 5 dimes, if anyone still has a 5 dimes account, and Rodríguez plus 290. Also,
I would if I was playing Rodríguez, I would absolutely take the decision line for sure.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. I don't know if this is stale or wrong, but Sportbet allegedly has Robertson money line plus 121.
Yeah, I would probably take a small shot on Robertson at a dog price like that.
That feels like, just looking at the rest of the market, that feels like something that hasn't been updated. So one of those sites that doesn't connect properly to the odds aggregators. But you never know. Might be worth a look for anybody that has an account over there. Moving on up to the light heavyweight division. Yes, that's right. I said light heavyweight division for Zach Cummings, who I don't know when the last time he fought at light heavyweight was, if it is ever. The man spent most of his UFC career down at 170. I think he might have fought at 205 back in his old MFC days. But that's going back to before Access TV was even Access TV. That's some HD net.
HD net. Yeah.
And he is fighting a man who has been around since before television even existed. Ed Herman. I don't know how much shorter the fuse can get for this man, but I think when it reaches its limit, it's a dud regardless, because Ed Herman, slow as molasses in his prime. I don't know what's slower than molasses, but Ed Herman is that in 2023. This is just an incredible fight booking. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why this is happening, but this should be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, how did they match up like 42-year-old Ed Herman against Zach Cummings? He's like 38 now or something, coming off like a long layoff. How long is the layoff he's been on? Yeah, he's been off for almost 3 years too.
Nice.
I mean,
Zach Cummings was my dude for a while. That man made me a shitload of money back in like the mid-teens.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best thing you can say about Ed Herman at this point is he went 15 with Benefield somehow. That's about the best thing you could say. Man, this guy's 42, and he's still taking some beatings, man. Got a win against Mike Rodríguez. Went 15 with Benefield. I mean, even at 205, if Cummings wasn't off like almost a 3-year layoff, at a 2-1 fave, you're almost like, this is kind of nuts, right? It's 205. It's a long layoff. I think you still got to like Zach Cummings in this fight, but laying that kind of price, just all the unknowns. I kind of want to see the scale. If he looks okay at 205 on the scale, he might be a parlay piece for me. I mean, I'd need like a really big price on Ed Herman to bet him against almost anybody at this point. Slow ain't the word for him anymore. And one of these times he's got to be cracked and literally deaded, right, by somebody. I don't know how he keeps taking these plays. 42 now. Who knows, man? Cummings the pick, but there's too many unknowns for me, man.
Yeah, like, yes, he's got to get cracked by somebody, but is Cummings the dude to do that?
I don't know. Cummings might show up and fucking look like USDA ain't touched him in 3 years. I don't know how he's making I know he did fight at 185 last time, but that was 3 years ago. I don't know what the fuck this guy's gonna look like, man.
Yeah. Last time out, he was supposed to fight Sam Alvey, and he withdrew from that fight. So if you're pulling out of fights with Sam Alvey, something's really wrong with you.
Didn't they give you Ed Herman? What the fuck?
Maybe he's got something in his contract where he's like, I will only fight gingers. That's it. No, I'm done with everybody else. I hate gingers. I'm only fighting them from now on. And I think the theory here is pre-pandemic, he lost to Omari Akhmedov. And then he saw that dude get on all the supplements, the old mountain yams, and head over to PFL. And he's like, ooh, there's an idea. He just forgot the PFL part of it. So if he shows up at 205 for this fight and doesn't piss hot, he's doing it all wrong. That's That's all there is to say about this.
I can't imagine what Zach Cummings is going to look like at 205 if he's not on PEDs. Like it's not good. He might look like Sam Alvey. That's what he's going to show up looking like, bro.
Yeah, I don't really have anything that I want to play on this. I mean, I'm gonna very quickly scan through. I mean, the overs juiced up, which I suppose I get, but man, Herman is so old. If you're thinking about that, that Cummings is the guy to get him out of there. TKO is plus 500, plus 525 looks like the best over at Bet Online there. So if you want to give more of your money to Dave Mason so he can turn it into Bitcoin, that's the play for you. Next up in the flyweight division, the co-main event of the evening, Matheus Nicolau. Been going on a run since he came back to the UFC. Maybe a little controversial win over Manel Kape to start that off, but looked pretty good since then. He has taken on the Raw Dog. Friend in the analysis. We're big fans of the Raw Dog over here in all of its forms, of course. That's why all these podcast co-hosts start missing shows because they got kids too much into the Raw Dog. But Brandon Royval, Matheus Nicolau, tremendous fight. It's absolutely ridiculous that this is on the prelims of a card like this. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Wes?
Yeah, we was talking about it. It's something like sub 155ers or something that I don't know. They always bury them on prelims. I know they like mix the cards up to switch from ESPN Plus. Sometimes they put them on I don't know, but still, this is fucking stupid, dude. This is legit one of the best fights on the card skill wise. Probably the second best fight on the card skill wise.
Might be the best, honestly.
Yeah, pound for pound, no doubt. Both of these dudes are, I mean, couple fights, two, 3 fights away from talking about maybe contending for something, maybe a fight or two. Nicolau's been on a hell of a streak. Got that finish over Matt Schnell. A good performance, but I think that fight set up well for Nicolau. Like Matt Schnell being old Matt Schnell, and like good setup for a guy that can strike clean like that. I think he gets that kind of fight here. A dude coming at him and going all out, but it's just a different level of a guy here. I think it's a really close fight. I could see a pass for either one of these dudes if it's a 15-minute kind of stand-up kickboxing fight. I mean, Nicolau is really clean hands and stuff. It probably cleaner striking than Royval overall, but man, this gets scrambly on the mat and stuff. I know Nicolau's decent on the mat, but Royval just puts you in spots and gives you these crazy looks and stuff on the mat that just they give guys problems. I think this is probably going to have some scrambles in it. Royval fights are just they're madness. That's what he thrives in is those kind of fights. I'm not sure Nicolau is built for those type of fights. I think Nicolau needs a more paced, technical kind of striking fight for his best performance. I just don't think he's going to get that here. Maybe he does. For me, this is kind of a line play too. I think this is more of a pick'em fight. Honestly, I don't know how Royval is almost a 2-1 dog, and the only losses to this dude's got, I mean, in the past 4 or 5 years now, is literally to Pantoja and Brandon Moreno. Like that's it. That is it. And it's not like I guess he was kind of outclassed, or wouldn't even say outclassed. He just got the shoulder injury against Brandon Moreno, and then Pantoja's Pantoja. Royval just went into his world, and that's just, you don't fuck with Pantoja on the mat and stuff, man. That's, you know, in this fight, that plays for Royval, man. So at this line, I want to see chaos. I want to see scrambly shit from Royval. I think we're going to get it. I think he's going to be some raw dog. And then I like him at this kind of price, man. I really do. One of my favorite spots on the card.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I remember that I had a bet on Pantoja in the Royval fight. I know that line started to like creep down on fight day. I think I was at like minus 160, minus 170, something like that. And I was worried about that bet. I don't know how other people remember that fight, but Pantoja was starting to get tired in that fight. And Royval, his aggressiveness just kind of got the better of him there. Pantoja hopped on his back in a fight that I honestly believe he was starting to take over with his pace. And then when Pantoja gets on your back, you're fucked. So that's essentially what happened there. So I don't know how he's a bigger dog here to Matheus Nicolau than he was against a much better fighter in Pantoja.
The future champ, Pantoja.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, I will mention one thing. The reason why Pantoja's got a chance to win that title is he worked on that cardio. That cardio is different now for Pantoja. That dude's an animal. He's an animal now.
That's going to be a scrap and a half. Him and Moreno. That just got announced, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be awesome. I think he is several of our picks for champ at the end of 2023. So there is the opportunity right there. But in this fight, I just think that Raw Dog's going to get all up in Matheus Nicolau's face and going to force him into an uncomfortable fight. I mean, we've seen that in the cop fight. You know, he can have a technical kickboxing fight and he can beat good fighters. We've seen that he can beat lesser fighters in pretty much any area. But a guy that gets in his face, has some power, is willing to throw weird shit, flying knees, elbows in the clinch, just whatever he needs to throw, he can get to him. He's been knocked out a few times in his career. And I think that Royval can maybe not knock him out. He can certainly hurt him. He can put him in weird positions. Magic. I'm with you. I know that one didn't make sense. You corrected yourself in the next one, but if we're all looking for Pantoja, I think
you're looking to some original Pantoja fucking marks from way back. I think he's coming off of a tough Brazil and shit with Pantoja, right?
The first time I ever watched him was in Shudo Brazil.
Yeah.
When they specifically aired a Shudo Brazil card on, I don't know if it was Access or HDNet at the time, but he was fighting Formiga, and that was like, the winner of this fight might be the best flyweight in the world at that time. It was just as they were introducing the division into the UFC. So it was like Ian McCall days, shit like that. But those we're big on the Pantoja train. So that performance that Royval had against him said a lot to me, and I'm going with Royval in this spot. I know that Nicolau, if this is a clean fight, he's the more technical fighter, but when has a Raw Dog fight ever been a clean fight? That dude likes to get dirty. He'll throw it in wherever just to make sure that he can get his. But Raw Dog plus 180 is still available at multiple places. What do we have here? MGM 365 plus 170 is Caesars, plus 179 Bet Online, plus 180 Raw Dog consensus bet of the week. That's
strong
cash
like bull.
right there. Absolutely. All right. Next up, featherweight division. I don't know how you go from like that fight and then back down to some of this stuff, but we'll find a way. Featherweight division, TJ Brown, Bill Algeo. I mean, some fun-ish guys to watch. But yeah, imagine putting these guys in a card after Raw Dog and Nicolau. Wes.
Yeah, Bill Algeo is always fun, and unless he gets a little resistance, and this dude starts, he get a little tired in there. He goes all out. He'll go all out. Yeah, I don't know what to think of this fight. I was been impressed by Algeo. I know he got the Brito win, and then just the meme fight win over the shitty Burns. But I don't know the last time out when he stepped up in the competition against, I don't want to say Brito's like a step down, but like a veteran dude kind of step up in competition. We kind of saw some flaws in Bill Algeo. Is TJ Brown that guy to do it? Probably not. For me, Algeo's just, I don't know. He's not a guy I want to be laying this kind of juice on. Just kind of up and down, man. I think he will try to put a pace on TJ Brown like he always does, but I just don't know if it works. And just off that last performance, I'm going to stay away here. Not running out to bet TJ Brown at all. Pick is going to be Algeo. I think he can win a 3-round decision here, but last time out against Feely, I don't know. I saw some things I didn't like, so I'm gonna pass here. I'll pick Algeo. Just not a spot I want to be laying -200 on him.
Yeah, I mean, with an Algeo fight that he's going to get taken down. I could be fighting him. He'd get taken down. It's a question of how much is he going to get held down and how much is his opponent going to gas out by the 7-minute mark of the second round. If his opponent gasses out and he can start to get up to his feet and put volume on him, he's in a good spot. I don't know how much TJ Brown fits that bill. He doesn't have the greatest cardio in the world, but he's certainly going to be able to get some takedowns.
Yeah, and hold him down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm worried here too. Algeo is the type of guy I love to play at dog money. Not laying juice on somebody that is going to end up on his back several times, potentially for significant portions of the fight. So even looking at the Brown lines, and sorry, one last thing on Algeo, he's not the type of finisher that even if he's down 2 rounds or if his opponent starts to gas, he's going to get the guy out of there. He's going to win the 3rd round, but he also needs to win the 2nd round in most cases to get the fight. And not really a position that I'm wanting to put myself into heading into this one. So probably going to be a pass for me. If the TJ Brown decision lines get out of control, I might look at those, but they're only like +260 right now. I think I'd be looking for a little bit more than that in order to play them.
Talk about looking for a little more. Let's move on to this next one.
Main card, kicking it off in tremendous fashion. Half a Garcia. Are we still at half a Garcia?
He's like 3/4 now because he's
3/4. Oh, after the last performance against the Machete. Yeah, I guess we can go 3/4 Garcia. He was down to like 1/4 of a Garcia after that Grutzemacher fight. I mean, that was an all-time legendary dog shit performance. But we're back up to 3/4 Garcia, but he's taken on 100% Carpenter, baby. This is the grind fest to end all grind fests. Wes, what do you got here?
Look, I think there's going to be a bunch of people betting Clay in this spot. I really do. I'm surprised the line is still like it's still over 2-1. It's like +230 at Dave Mason. I understand it. I can't see it in this spot. Clay's pulled some shit out of his ass the past couple fights, man. And it's been some dudes. It's like that if he could hang on against, they're gonna gas. You know what I'm saying? Like Holtzman was the fucking perfect one. I know Brad was on that one. That was a good one. I think Hoffa's got fucking 15 minutes of cardio. I think he's going to come forward. I don't think Clay can get takedowns on him. I'm not sure Clay can clinch him against the cage a lot and grind some time out. Maybe I'm completely wrong because it's Clay and he's done this shit over and over here lately. I'm not betting half a Garcia either. There's no way I want to lay that kind of juice on him against Clay's becoming fucking late stage Diego, man. I don't know. He's pulling shit out. He's getting these decisions and shit, man. I'm not saying they're as bad as some of the ones Diego got, but he's in these close fights that could go either way. And it's Clay Guida with the hair bouncing and shit and stuff, and him doing his bullshit to where he's not really doing nothing, but he looks like he's doing something. Garcia's actually putting stuff out there, though. Garcia's got output and shit. He does shit that judges like to see. So I'm just not sure who's going to do enough of that fake bullshit this way the judges this one. That's why I get taking Clay here again. I don't see it in this one. I think Garcia is going to do enough to get a decision here, but man, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Clay takes another split, like straight up. Brad's onto it. I'll let him talk. I'm going to pick Garcia, but no bet for me on anything here.
Yeah. Well, Rafa Garcia doesn't win fights unless he can get a lot of takedowns, like a lot of takedowns. And those takedowns, they usually don't come particularly early in fights. Wes was talking about how Guida needs to fight these guys that start to wear down over the course of the fight, and he can start to take over and get his grind going. Garcia's kind of the same way.
Clay wins a lot of third rounds in these decisions he's getting. Like he's the dude in the third that's actually still doing a little something. But yep. I get what you're saying.
So like, against the Machete, no takedowns in the first round for Rafa. And then as the Machete started to wear down, you got 3 takedowns in the second round, 3 takedowns in the third round. The control time started to rack up. That's not going to be there against Guida. Guida is not easy to take down. Even old man Guida, I think he got taken down a couple times by Bobby Green in very sort of like weird circumstances because it was a Bobby Green fight. Prior to that, he hadn't been taken down in a fight at all. Sorry, I got to scroll down like real far. Dennis Bermudez in 2014. So like, if you're telling me that Rafa Garcia, the dude that lost to Chris Grutzmacher because he couldn't hold him down after getting some takedowns, is going to take down and hold down Clay Guida, I mean, I want some of what you're on. Which I mean, it's West, so it's the good stuff. But I'm on Guida here. I'm
don't talk me into this shit, man. Don't stop.
I'm taking some Guida decision. I haven't played that one yet. I have played Guida by split decision at plus 1100 because that's just fucking ridiculous. That's stupid.
That's a must play whether you like Hoffa or not. Like, yeah. This is going to be a close decision either which way. That's crazy.
Yep. So I'm on Guida. I feel like there's no way that you can say that Rafa Garcia minus 250 in this spot is a good bet.
Nah.
I don't. Maybe Guida is not a good bet. I'm taking it regardless. But I feel like if there is a side to play in this fight, it's got to be Clay Guida. I mean, this is the type of fight that he's been in a million times before. You know it's going to be dirty and close, and whether you think he does enough to win these fights or not, the judges do. And we've got 15 years of track record that say that they do. And so I'm not going to argue with that. Judges still suck. They're always going to suck. You might as well make some money because of it.
This is one of those perfect shitstorm fights for judging. Like perfect. Most Clay Guida fights are. This one is going to be like the perfect shitstorm. You might as well fucking call up fucking Clooney or Wahlberg or whichever the fuck was in one of those. The perfect shitstorm, because this Guida fight is going to be it for that split decision's crazy. What was just split decision?
I'll pull that up. It's usually like 400 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is. Do you think that the people in Kansas City are going to be cheering for 3/4 of a Garcia, or do you think they're going to be cheering for Clay Guida whipping his hair back and forth like Willow Smith?
Guido could probably be fighting anywhere but Juarez, and he's going to get cheered over half of Garcia, like straight up.
The fight to go to split decision is plus 400.
Yeah.
So that's
11's a lot better, especially when you like the side.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that math, I'm all right at math. I'm not the greatest at math. But if you think a fight going to split decision is plus 400, that means that you think it's going to be close at that range. So you're adding another, 2.5, a little bit more on top of that. I know that Guida's a plus 200 dog here, but if you think that the split decision is plus 400, the one side of it shouldn't be that much higher than the other. But whatever, I'll still take it. Next up, we spent a little bit of time on that one. This one's all right. This is third best fight on the card, maybe fourth. Co-main event's all right. Bantamweight division, of course, good fights at bantamweight. I mean, are calf kickers the crotch sniffers of strikers, Wes? Or, what are we doing here?
I think we're at the point to where it's so prevalent. We have to have a degree chart of calf kickers now. There's the calf kickers that literally hurt you with their shit. And there's other ones that just like kind of jab your calf over and over. Those are the ones that could sniff some crotch.
That's fair. I think these guys like sort of qualify as the ones that can hurt you.
One's a borderline sniffer, but he can hurt you.
But he can guillotine you as well. So I mean that's got to count for something. And we know that Gutierrez has nothing besides his calf kicks. Dude is lost if he can't kick you in your lower leg. But Pedro Munhoz, Chris Gutierrez, who you got, Wes?
Yeah, this is there's a few of these fights on this card, but this is just another one to where I just think the line's a little too wide on a really good fighter. I mean, the last time we saw Pedro Munhoz, he was cruising, I think, to a win over a guy that's starting to be respected and have is not as bad as we all kind of thought.
Actually very good.
I mean,
shockingly.
O'Malley's performance against Peter Yan is legit. It really is. Even though he lost the fight, like it was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in fucking almost 25 years of watching this. It's a horrible decision. Sean O'Malley got his against Peter Yan in that fight. Saying that, like, Munhoz was looking great in that fight. That's the last time we saw Munhoz. And for me, like, Gutierrez he is what he is, but he is beating like nobodies, bro. Like absolute nobodies. Like this is going to, even a 36-year-old Pedro Munhoz is going to be the best dude by far that he's a Frankie, not with this, version of Frankie notwithstanding.
I mean, it's amazing that he survived in that fight.
I mean,
sorry, I had to do my my Lance bit in his absence for this one.
So yeah, I feel here that, I mean, this is just a close fight on the feet. Probably where it's going to be, two dudes kicking at each other's fucking legs a lot. I think Pedro's probably the little bit more dynamic striker. I think he's got a little bit cleaner hands. Gutierrez might have a little bit more power, probably even. One dude's plus 180. A proven dude that's fought some of the best competition out there, that was looking good against a really good guy in the last time we saw him, was probably on his way to winning a decision against him. So at plus 180, if Gutierrez comes out here and fucking calf kicks and hits a nerve on Pedro or some shit, then I lose. I don't know, but I'm going to take that plus 180 against a guy that I just think is just a better dude that's fought way better competition over so many years. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of Pedro here. I think he probably wins a decision.
I think I'm going to have to get on board with you. I don't feel great about it. If we knew that Munhoz was going to come out and even think about grappling, then he should be like minus 300 in this fight, because Gutierrez cannot grapple.
Pedro just never does, is the problem.
He never does. I don't know if maybe we'll end up in like a scramble because of all the kicks that these guys are going to be throwing or something like that. But any sort of grappling, he's got a huge edge in this fight. I think that Gutierrez probably has a little edge in the striking at this point. I don't know that he's that much better, and I don't know that it's going to be enough that it's clear for the judges. So I still think that even if Munhoz is a complete mook and doesn't grapple again, which we know he's not going to, and this just ends up as a 15-minute kickboxing match, it's going to be two guys throwing calf kicks at each other. It's going to be even. I don't think that either of them is really going to have a huge impact on one another in terms of those calf kicks. So really, it's kind of a coin toss. It's 50-50 with the possibility that if grappling happens, there's a huge advantage for Pedro Munhoz in this fight. So at that, considering all those things, I've got to take a little Pedro Munhoz in this spot.
Decisions plus 350 on Pedro too. That's actually kind of nice, I think.
That's kind of nutty. I mean,
he's got
this is dumb sort of round robin stuff, but submission is 1100.
Like you said, if it happens to get into a scramble, big advantage. And what a line you would, if they could say it hits the mat once, I'll take some of that 1100. But the percentage chance of it hitting that mat once is usually not good with Pedro anymore.
Maybe one of them hits the nerve and the other one has to shoot a takedown. So you never know. But that's probably something dumb that I'll throw in a round robin that will be a leg that doesn't cash. But, we'll see what happens. I do think that Munhoz at plus 180 definitely has some upside, though. Light heavyweight division, Ion Cuțelaba taking on Tanner the Hoser Boser down at 205. People think that this matters. I don't think it matters at all. Every lower weight or smaller heavyweight is really just a light heavyweight that's too lazy to cut weight. Boser finally decided to cut weight. I don't think it's going to give him a significant size or strength advantage. He still can't wrestle. This fight might as well be at, a catch weight of 215 or 220. I think it's the exact same fight as it happening at 205. But Wes, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is man, it's so hard with fucking Cuțelaba, man. Like, you feel like this guy could go out there and if he
I find it pretty difficult with Cuțelaba myself. It's tough.
If he could get a dude down one time, it's that labia is going to start pounding. You know what I'm saying? And they could be in trouble.
Just sucks the life right out of you, you know?
Yeah, he really does. I don't know. I have a really tough time reading this fight. We was kind of talking earlier. I was kind of leaning Boser to just kind of keep this standing and slow, keeping a distance and picking, Cuțelaba off shots, kind of rushing in and out. But man, and I think about it's like, man, Cuțelaba is going to come bum rushing, so it's probably going to be him getting a hold of Boser and getting him down and smashing, or I don't know, man. There's just so many fucked up things happen in Cuțelaba fights. I think you was right though. You say if you do like Boser in this spot, maybe looking at that over 1.5 is a look. It's in the minus 135 range. I kind of lean Boser. I just think he keeps this kind of slow in that range for a little bit. But I don't know, man. I hate to lay some juice on that with the way Cuțelaba just fights and how his fights go. I just don't know what to think about that dude, man. He looks like he should be good and be able to get dudes down and smash dudes, and then he just gets fucked up every fight. I'm not sure when the last time Cuțelaba actually won a fight. It was Devin Clark like fucking 2.5 years ago or some shit. I mean, Johnny Walker and Kenny Nunchucks and shit's knocking him out, man. It's tough. I'm gonna pick Boser here, and kind of how you alluded to, man. If I do bet anything, since I kind of lean Boser, I might look at that over 1.5. Hopefully, I know most people bet Cuțelaba under, so hopefully some under money comes in and that can kind of get back down to a little closer to even.
Yeah, that is certainly a possibility that could come down a little bit. I don't hate Boser by decision at I think that's plus 400 at 365 I saw. And I think I mentioned a few times when he got a couple of weird ass knockouts in his early UFC tenure that like this is a guy that you especially want to bet by decision after those knockouts.
But
that's
this dude
possible here, but he still can't wrestle. I don't think going down to 205 is going to teach him how to wrestle. And I certainly expect him to be on his back in the first round. I just think that defensively, he's always looked relatively sound on his back because he's used to being there. And I think he can survive the initial Cuțelaba onslaught. So he's a better man than I am for that. And I do kind of like that over 1.5. Kind of either way that this one goes. We have seen a couple times where Cuțelaba can get takedowns for multiple rounds before he gasses. It's not like an instant gas. So maybe some honorary fatties in this one, especially if that line comes down a little bit. And what's the fight to go to decision? Plus 215. Don't love that. Would like a little bit more. But that's not crazy. Boser doesn't have a lot of power. I know that Cuțelaba has been finished in some weird ways in recent fights. But I've got the suspicion that this one's going to go a little bit longer than most people think. Next 205 fight on the cards. A guy that Cuțelaba has fought, Dustin Jacoby, taking on Azamat Murzakanov. Is that a real name, Wes? What?
I think it might be. Yeah, I kind of like Jacoby in this fight. He got my boy to unhung, like great performance a cost me last time. I don't know who possessed Khalil Roundtree, but I was on Jacoby pretty big against him. I really liked Jacoby in that fight, and Roundtree showed up and like fought a really good fight. Somehow they was a split. I don't know. Like Roundtree won that fight, and I was on Jacoby like pretty big in that spot. So
that's a big statement coming from you as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I got a but that was a bad split. He lost that fight. Roundtree looked great in that spot, but I didn't like with Roundtree's performance. I didn't like take a lot from Jacoby coming out of it though. He's still the same dude. He's a very durable, technical fucking kickboxer, and he's got above average takedown defense for half a career long kickboxer coming over into MMA for a while now, but has always had decent takedown defense. So I think he keeps us up. He out kickboxes this guy. I don't know if I want to bet Jacoby here though. It's the line's creeping. So I'm not sure it's going to get back down into playable range for me. It's a really good parlay piece if you like him. I don't know about laying minus 160 or so on Jacoby here. Jacoby by decision might be a look. That's up around 2-1 at one spot, plus 175 in most places. That's usually Jacoby, 15 rounds or 15 minutes of kickboxing. So, yeah, I like Jacoby here. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or how I'm going to play it, but I do like him in the spot to probably win a decision.
Yeah, I think you can probably look at overs in this fight. I know that the Russian fraud actually has a couple of stoppages in the UFC. One that he completely pulled out of his ass, and then decent performance against Devin Clark in his last one. I just don't think he's anywhere as good of a kickboxer as Dustin Jacoby. So he's going to need to get takedowns, and we've seen Jacoby either defend takedowns against much better wrestlers or be able to get back to his feet against much better wrestlers. So I don't think that that's going to be a successful game plan for the Russian here. I think he's probably going to tire himself out a little bit if he does that. So probably going to look to have the over 1.5 in a parlay in this one. It's like minus 230, which I think is low, considering how durable Jacoby is and how, despite his last performance, he usually doesn't show off a ton of power. But I kind of like Jacoby as well. I don't mind the minus 155, minus 160 price tag that's out there. I'm with you, Jimmy. I think that I had some stolen from me from the fraud. I had the old Teflon Don actually by decision at like some stupid price when he came into the UFC in that debut. I was counting my money heading into that third round.
Yep.
And then pissed it all away. So maybe I'm going to lose some more money on against the Russian before I make it back. But I can guarantee with what I've seen from this guy that it is coming back multiple fold because he's not good. And I don't think this one sets up well for him. So I like Jacoby. I like those short overs. We'll see about the Jacoby by decision or anything like that. But certainly Jacoby as a parlay piece, over 1.5 as a parlay piece. Do not mind either of those one bit. Co-main event, featherweight division. Eddie Barboza still doing the thing, still doing it at 145. Hasn't been going tremendously well for him of late, but he's taken on a little bit less physical of a 145er in good old Billy Quarantillo. Wesley, what you got?
Yeah, hadn't been too good for our boy Edson over his past couple. he's fighting some pretty good dudes. I was a little surprised by the last performance, so I will say that. Bryce Mitchell going out there and kind of, doing kind of on the feet what he did to Edson in that fight was very surprising to me. I like Billy Q. I think we're both Billy Q fans. We've bet Billy Q quite a bit. Billy Q was taking some of that Spanish King thunder last time or early in that fight, man. And I know Alex Hernandez hits hard, but Edson hits hard and got some technique. And I need my boy Edson to get off in the first round. I need him to get off. I need him to hit Billy Q with some stuff in the first round. And hope he gets him out of there, gets a second, man. It's gonna be a close fight, another close fight, and I'm getting dog money on an all-time fucking kickboxer here, man. So I'm probably gonna take Edson again, and I'm gonna be like, if he doesn't get Billy Q out of there in the first round, I'm gonna be puckered the rest of the way. I'm gonna need Edson to get the second and survive the third if that's the way it goes and he can't get Billy Q out of there. This might be a spot to take Edson before the fight and then look what Billy Q is after the first round, because I do think Edson's going to have his most success for sure in the first round. And if that looks really good, you might be able to get a good price on Billy Q live in the second round. But we'll see. Just think it's a close fight, man. I still think Edson's a really good striker. I think he's got really good takedown defense and stuff. You can't really hold Edson against the cage and shit. Those things that Billy Q likes to do to wear guys down and shit. So I think it's just going to be a close fight. I'm going to take some plus 155 on Edson and probably have a lot of puckering going on in that fight.
I've got some bad news for you. You're going to have some puckering going on because I do think that Edson's going to struggle to get Billy Q out of there early. I just mentioned the over 1.5 in that Jacoby fight. I actually put it with the over 1.5 in this one because I think that Billy Q's durable, doesn't have a ton of stopping power. And when that stopping power does show up, I mean, he knocked out or stopped the leader of the free world in the second last time out, but late in the second, and I don't think that he's going to do that to most guys. It's just he struggles when he's at physical disadvantages, as he struggled early in that fight, and I think that's the case again here. So he's going to have his problems early. I think he's going to overcome them, probably come back and win a decision in this one. I really, really want to believe that Edson can get it done and, have a ticket on Edson at plus money. But I think I'm just going to look at that over. I think if you parlay those two together at a Camby book right now, they're even money. So
good bet. Yeah.
I'll take a couple fights to go 7.5 minutes for even money when I kind of expect them to go to decision. So that's the way I'm going to attack that one. We'll see if I do something stupid with Edson later on in the week. But that brings us to the main event, sticking around in the featherweight division. Max Holloway, the blessed one, taking on Arnold Allen, the not blessed one. He's almighty. So these guys both have like kind of Jesus-y nicknames. Despite that, we still kind of like them because they're both good fighters. But interesting fight here. I don't know what Holloway's future is at 145. That tends to happen when you repeatedly lose to the same guy. If Allen can get a win here, obviously, I think he said that he's going to wait for a title shot. don't think he's going to have to wait that long because like he deserves a title shot if you beat Max Holloway. Not a lot of dudes have done that over the years. So Wes, what are you thinking about the main event here?
Yeah, if Arnold Allen wins this fight, he's fighting the winner of Volkanovski, and well, he's fighting Volkanovski here after Volkanovski beats up this dude with the fake belt. Yeah, this is a good fight, man. Arnold Allen, like, to watch his progression, like we've gotten to watch over the past few years, is pretty tremendous. I'm still kind of disappointed that, that last fight against Kattar, though, because I think that he was looking decent early in that fight, but
that's what everyone expected anyway.
Yes. And we never know what was going to happen over 25 minutes when we know Kattar, his output, his durability and shit. I needed that tested with Arnold Allen, and we didn't get to see that. And now he gets to go against king durability and output. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you like Kattar going in that fight, you fucking better like Max going into this fight for sure. And I did. I bet Kattar going in that fight. Maybe I would have been wrong anyway. I think you still got to like Max here, man. Like, as good as Arnold Allen has gotten and stuff, I don't think he has the finishing ability to get Max out of there, especially being like one of the most durable guys we've ever seen in this sport. Arnold Allen, I don't think is a huge finisher. I know he got Hooker out of there. It was kind of, Hooker's been finished and stuff lately. And I don't see how Arnold Allen goes 25 minutes kickboxing Max. I mean, he's going to have to wrestle, I think, to beat Max over a 25-minute fight. That's not happening, man. If Arnold Allen touches Max and the chin's gone where Volkanovski couldn't get him out of there, I mean, just none of these dudes can the shit he took from Yair, the shit Yair was landing on him that never even really fucking stunned him. I don't see Arnold Allen with the finishing ability to get one of the most durable guys I've ever seen out there. And what's probably going to be a kickboxing match. And I mean, just the output alone, is going to be too much for Allen here for me. So, man, at this price, I personally think you're getting a really good price on Max Holloway and a very winnable fight for him. I think Allen needs to knock Max out or get Max out of there to win this fight, and I just can't see that happening.
Yep, I'm with you. I think that if you go back through Allen's fights, obviously the last two performances look great, but he's essentially rocked guys right away and then sort of unloaded on them in those two fights. If he doesn't do that against Max, look back a little bit further and he does not throw a lot. And that is not a good recipe to have success against Max Holloway. In the entire 15-minute fight against Sadiq Yusuff, he threw 68 strikes total.
Max
15-minute fight.
Max is going to do that in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit better against Nick Lentz, who can't strike at all. He threw 130. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
A little bit more against a crippled, hobbled Gilbert Melendez. 190, but you're still only talking about like he's throwing 60 strikes around. He's gonna have to pick that up a hell of a lot against Max Holloway because you know that Max is gonna be there. He's gonna throw a shitload of strikes. Unless you think that Max is just completely washed and the chin is gone. And I don't know what would give you the impression that that's actually the case. Like, we know he's been in wars, but he's been in wars for many years. He's never shown this. Yeah. Exactly. So unless you think that Max is just on the downside of his career, I mean, the price is starting to creep up at this point. I hope it comes back down a little bit. I like Max more at like the minus 170 range than where it's starting to creep back up to. Don't have a play on it right now, but I'm certainly leaning Max in this one. We don't know about Allen's volume against somebody that can actually strike and bring that volume against him. I think the durability's there. We don't really know about the cardio.
That's what I was going to say. That was the Cater fight though. That's another thing that we needed to see. Like Allen's I mean, it's known his dad's a steroid freak bodybuilder, and Allen works out. He lifts big weights. Like he's a big dude and shit. We don't know what that's going to do. And like when you're getting these 145 upper echelon fights, these guys are going for 20, 25 minutes, throwing output, like throwing fucking strikes. I'm not sure Allen can do that. I have my doubts. I'm highly doubtful that he can do that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So it's one of those things where, like you, I was on Cater in that last fight, lost it. Good on Allen. He did well in the first round. Obviously, there was the injury towards the end of that round, and then the second round was meaningless. I mean, I don't even know why Cater's corner let him come out for the second round. That's just negligent shit that MMA corners do. Yeah, I need to see it still. And he's going up against the second best guy in the division, one of the like top 3 guys in the history of the division. And
under 2-1. Who's under 2-1?
Exactly. So got to go with Max here. We'll see how it plays out. But holy shit, Wes, we managed to go way longer than I expected.
You let me ramble too much. Lance keeps me in line usually.
That's fine. When you ramble, it gives me time to look stuff up that I'm going to say. So
you're making bets. I'm literally talking and you're over doing research. You're putting bets in as we're going here. You got all the time in the world.
You know what? The problem is if I don't put the bets in now when I'm saying it, I don't go back and listen to the podcast and listen to myself. And I should just listen to myself. So I got to put the bets in now.
Sometimes I got to make money.
Yeah. I got to dig myself out of this hole that I'm in to start the year.
Yeah, it's been bad. I've had a couple winning events, small, very small, but I'm like back-to-back winning events. So we're
there. You got to go start somewhere, right? Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week on the MMA Analysis Podcast. We're going to be back eventually next week. We are going to be back next week. Apparently, maybe. What's the main event for that? Blades and Pavlovich?
Ooh, that's actually good. That's coming up next? Damn. Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
That's not bad.
Shit, we got that. Dude, we got Dong and Simone. Holy shit.
Not bad.
Those are bangers. Jeremiah Bullfrog and Selmishberger. We got some bangers on this.
We can fade Bobby Green as a minus 300 favorite.
Oh God, Honey Yaya against Montel Jackson. Jesus. Oh, we got the shitty Usman against Tafa. Uh-oh. Wes is gonna lose some more money on that one, ain't he?
I don't know. Which one are you betting?
Not the shitty Usman. I'm getting that motherfucker. It's gonna happen.
You're gonna lay the minus 220 on Junior Tafa, huh?
Nah, probably like hump session or some Tafa decision or over 1.5. That's probably fatty paradise right there, ain't it? Are we getting a 1.5 in that?
Maybe after that power that Usman showed off last time out.
The first time in his entire life. Yeah.
This is where we cliffhanger the folks. You're going to have to tune in next week to find out. That's going to do it for us here on the MMA Analysis. Appreciate I appreciate you guys joining in. We will see you next week. Thank you very much.